Sometimes love doesn't walk out with a door slam or a final goodbye. Sometimes it simply fades, quietly. No yelling, no big argument, just small moments where something feels a little off. You tell a story and they barely react. You sit beside them and it feels like you're miles apart. If you're here, maybe you felt it too, like you're present in the same room, but emotionally, they're somewhere else. This video isn't meant to stir fear or fuel doubt. It's here to help you notice the signs that are often missed. Not the loud, obvious ones, but the soft, honest ones. The ones that matter most. Because when someone stops loving you, their behavior changes. Gently, quietly, but consistently. And if you know what to look for, you can understand what's really happening beneath the surface. In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through 5 powerful signs that someone may no longer love you the way they once did. And by the end, I hope you'll walk away not with panic, but with clarity. Clarity to see the truth, and strength to decide what comes next for your peace, your heart, and your future. Let's begin. Sign 1. They no longer show curiosity about your life. One of the earliest signs that love may be fading isn't a fight. It's the silence that creeps in when someone stops being genuinely curious about you. Remember when they used to ask about your day? How your back was feeling? Whether your friend finally called you back? Those small check-ins meant something. They meant you were still in their thoughts, still emotionally close. But now? Maybe you talk and they barely nod. Maybe you share something that matters to you, a memory, a worry, even a joke, and you're met with a flat, or no response at all. The questions fade, the follow-ups disappear, and suddenly you're doing all the reaching, all the sharing, alone. This shift isn't about being too busy or having too much on their mind. It's about emotional investment. When someone truly cares, they stay connected to your world, even in the small stuff. But when that connection starts breaking, so does their curiosity. And it hurts, because it's not just the silence that stings, it's what it says, that they've stopped seeing your world as worth entering. If you're starting to feel like your voice doesn't land anymore, if the things that once sparked conversation now feel like echoes in an empty room, it may be time to ask yourself the harder question. Why did they stop caring to know me? Sign 2. Their patience has quietly disappeared. When love is present, patience is too. The little things that used to bring laughter or tenderness, like repeating yourself, misplacing your phone, or needing help with something simple, were once met with kindness, maybe even affection. But when love starts to fade, so does that grace. What used to be, "It's okay, let me help you," becomes, again. You really need to remember this stuff. And it's not just what they say, it's how they say it. The sighs, the short answers, the irritated body language, the sharpness that cuts deeper than they probably realize. Think about the last time you needed something small. Directions, a reminder, a helping hand. Did they lean in or pull away? Were you met with warmth or with weariness? This change in tone, in energy, in emotional availability, it doesn't scream, it whispers, but you feel it in your chest, in your gut, in that quiet place where love used to feel safe. Losing patience isn't always about stress or a bad day. Sometimes it's about no longer feeling connected enough to care deeply. And if you feel like you've become more of a burden than a partner in their eyes, that's a red flag you shouldn't ignore. Sign 3. Time together feels like a routine, not a relationship. When someone truly cares, they make time. Not just out of obligation, but out of desire. They want to be around you, to share a meal, watch your favorite show, or even sit in silence together. That kind of presence isn't about doing something big. It's about choosing you over and over again. But when love begins to fade, time slowly disappears. Not in a dramatic exit, but in small daily absences. You'll notice they stop inviting you into their moments. They might leave the house without saying where they're going, spend more time in another room, or suddenly get busy right when you were hoping for a little shared quiet. Even when they're near, it might feel like they're somewhere else entirely, scrolling through their phone, distracted, disengaged. You're next to them, but you feel alone. And that's the real wound. When someone's physical presence doesn't match emotional presence. When being together starts to feel like two people simply coexisting, not connecting. It doesn't always mean they don't love you anymore, but it does mean something is missing. Because when someone's heart starts pulling away, one of the first things to go is time. And time, more than words, tells you everything. Sign 4, emotional walls go up without explanation. When love is strong, conversations are open. You talk about everything, from how your day went to your biggest worries. You feel like a team, like you're walking through life side by side, sharing both the burdens and the joys. But when love starts to fade, the sharing stops. You might notice they don't tell you how they're feeling anymore. Their answers become short, vague, or dismissive. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing's wrong. But deep down, you can feel the shift. Something is wrong. They're just not letting you in. And this emotional withdrawal isn't always loud. There may be no fights, no angry words, just silence where there used to be warmth. You're no longer the person they vent to, laugh with, or lean on when life feels heavy. You're in the same room, but it's like a wall has gone up, and you don't know how or when it got there. The hardest part? You might start blaming yourself, wondering if you did something wrong. But often this shift isn't about something you did, it's about how they feel and the fact that they no longer choose to share that with you. Emotional distance often arrives quietly, but it speaks volumes. Sign 5. Touch becomes rare or feels forced. When someone loves you, physical closeness comes naturally, whether it's a hug before bed, a kiss on the cheek, or simply sitting close while watching TV. These little gestures of affection aren't just habits. They're silent reminders that you matter, that you're wanted, that the connection is still alive. But when love begins to fade, touch is often one of the first things to vanish. At first, it might be subtle. They pull their hand away a little too quickly. They stop leaning in. Hugs become brief or feel stiff, like a chore rather than comfort. You might find yourself sitting further apart on the couch, going to bed without the usual goodnight kiss, or barely brushing shoulders in passing. And when you reach out, it might feel like you're the only one trying. That softness, that warmth, that spark, it's missing. It's not about passion or romance alone. It's about presence, reassurance, the feeling that I'm here with you and I still choose you. When touch fades, it's often a physical reflection of emotional withdrawal. And it hurts because our bodies can feel what words don't say. If you're noticing that physical closeness is slipping away, don't ignore it. It may be time to gently but honestly check in with what's really going on. Final thoughts. Love rarely ends with a dramatic slam of the door. Most of the time, it slips away in quiet moments. A missed question, a distant look, an unreturned touch. If you recognized even one of the signs we discussed today, loss of curiosity, decreased patience, absence of quality time, emotional walls, or physical withdrawal, pause and reflect. These aren't just quirks or stress-related changes. They're emotional cues. Clues that something may be shifting underneath the surface of your relationship. This doesn't mean there's no hope, but before anything can be healed, it must be seen. And that starts with honesty. First with yourself, then with your partner. Ask the hard questions. Do I feel emotionally safe? Do I feel seen, heard, and chosen? Is this love still mutual? Or am I carrying it alone? You deserve real connection. Love that's not just routine, but warm. Not just polite, but present. And if you're no longer receiving that, remember, noticing the truth isn't the end. It's the beginning of either a deeper conversation or a new path toward peace and self-respect. You're worthy of love that stays curious, stays close, and keeps choosing you. If this message resonated with you, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one sign that stood out to you most, and why? Your stories not only help you reflect, but may also support someone else who needs to know they're not alone. Please like, share, and subscribe to keep this important conversation going. Until next time, take care of your heart. It deserves the same love you so freely